tonight.
Hi.
You've laid out a very ambitious policy agenda here. Are you concerned that the president is trying to derail progress for the party and it could be critical?
Well, I'm not concerned about the president trying to derail progress for the grassroots movement. I am concerned about the fossil fuel industry trying to derail progress for our movement. I'm concerned about ExxonMobil trying to derail progress for our movement. But, when we first introduced, as Senator Markey said, when we first introduced the Green New Deal at the beginning of this most recent term, we were told everything from it's unreasonable to it is beyond the pale, that these provisions are unrealistic. But now you fast forward to the end of this term, and they told us we couldn't repeal fair cloth in the House, and we did. They told us we couldn't get past X amount of sponsors, co-sponsors on this legislation. We are now past 100 co-sponsors in the House of Representatives on the Green New Deal resolution. They told us that we couldn't get union support. They told us we couldn't get union support from building trades on climate action, and lo and behold, we have union support on the Green New Deal for public housing to massively invest in infrastructure in this country. There's a lot of people on both sides of the party, a lot of Democrats saying we can't do what we've already done. There are a lot of people that are saying that it is not possible. So again, I'm not concerned about this president's commitment. I am concerned about the voices and the industries and the lobbyists that could infiltrate and really kind of poison the ability for us to have progress, which is why we have to convene and keep the pressure on. Thank you.
What is your assessment so far of how Biden has approached this issue? He implicitly said the president to the White House team he has to talk to those connections. What do you see so far, and what do you think that tells you about how to go forward?
Well, President-elect Biden has constructed a $2 trillion infrastructure program that is green. And he asked for the Sunrise Movement to be a part of the construction of that plan. And it is the boldest plan that any presidential candidate has ever put in place. And so from our perspective, we are ready to fight in order to make sure that that plan becomes reality, and that the fuel economy standards, which Donald Trump has rolled back, are put in place, that the appliance efficiency standards, which Donald Trump has rolled back, are put back in place and expanded and made even bolder. And I know that when Joe Biden talks about these issues, he says that he is committed to rolling back all the Trump environmental policies and moving forward boldly. Okay, and so that's what we are doing. We are here to say that we are committed to ensuring that the boldest policies are put in place, and we are very hopeful that with our efforts and the momentum that we've created, that will be the case next year in the Biden administration. Again.
Right here. Questions there.
What do you do to during the task force?
Sure. Yes, I had the privilege of serving on the Climate Unity Task Force with the Biden team, and to your first question on transition, there is open communication between I think just many parts of the party, including the progressive wing of the party, and I think in terms of what we're going to see on the seriousness of a Biden-Harris administration on climate are their appointments and are in their transition. So, it's not just about one figure or one person, but we need to see a broader level in the overall tenor of transition appointments, because We know that in transportation is a climate issue. We know health and human services is a climate issue. So we want to see in every cabinet appointment what the disposition towards climate is and how the Biden-Harris administration wants to approach climate and who they put in. So I think it's really the amalgam. It's the orchestra and the harmony of those appointments to understand how serious the administration is. Right here.
Hi, my name's Carly. First of all, I apologize for my pajamas. I was in bed and I saw you guys were doing this and I came. My question is for you, actually, Representative. It is, as a young Democratic socialist, obviously, I worked with Bernie Sanders' campaign. Obviously, it's very heartbreaking that we didn't get that in office. And I think a lot of us are feeling very lost at the cabinet selections and things that Biden is doing at this point, especially his position on fracking. What exactly can young people like myself do to really ensure that we hold Biden accountable and in 4 years we don't end up with another battle like Trump?
I think where hope is that if you're, and I say this as an activist as well, if you're only looking at electoral politics, you will get cynical and upset and turn away and just want to fold and give up. So my advice to you is to not rely on electoral politics.
Yeah.
We need to have, that's why we operate as in an inside-outside strategy. That's why you all send us in there to have all of these very frustrating, type of struggles. While you all keep doing the hopeful work of organizing. And if you want to know about whether it's fracking or any other issue, just look at the movement that emerged at Standing Rock. Look at the movements that emerged around Flint. Look at the movements that emerged in our home state of New York, where grassroots movements successfully attained a moratorium and then a ban on fracking.
Yeah.
And so you all don't forget the power that you have. And do not think that we have to rely solely on elected officials for change. We are partners in this. We are not above or below at each other in this.
You guys have said that you're not necessarily worried about a Biden administration derailing some of these progressive proposals, but you guys are all Democrats, protesting outside of your party's own headquarters. It's very likely there will be a Republican Senate, even with the Biden administration. And why not, for instance, do this outside of the RNC or the NRSC versus here in front of your own?
And can you give your name and outlet?
Yeah, it's Ramsey with Newsweek.
I don't think this is a form of protest. It's building public support, and this is something that I think is so important. I hope we win the 2 Georgia races, but if we don't, the House should pass bold policies, and we should have the administration mobilize around the country for those bold policies. That is the aspiration, what the American people want. We shouldn't be compromising with ourselves or with McConnell. So when you see a movement outside the DNC, we're all part of the DNC. We're not protesting ourselves. What we're saying is this is what the Democratic Party wants. It's not opinion, it's fact. I mean, Fox News has polls out there showing overwhelming support for Medicare for all, overwhelming support for the Green New Deal. It's only in Washington that these policies are considered difficult. So this is saying this is what the Democratic Party believes. And we have as much a right to the Democratic Party mantle and articulating those views as any other elected person.
And I think this is going to be the last question, and we do have movement leaders who are going to be interviewed right around the corner over here, and would love for folks to direct questions there after we wrap up here.
Thank you. This is for any of the members of Congress. I wanted to ask you, yesterday you all re-elected Speaker Pelosi as a caucus to be Speaker for the next 2 years, for the 117th Congress. Are you guys concerned that she is not going to champion the same policies that you want over the next term?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's not a concern of mine, and I can't speak for the other members of Congress. We are all members of Congress, we represent different districts. We are all here as part of our caucus to bring forth the policies that we are advocating for and care for, the ones that the people who have elected us sent us to prioritize. Not every single district shares a priority. And so our job is to introduce the pieces of legislation, get people to co-sign those pieces of legislation, and try to work to move them through that process and make the demands of the speaker and leadership to implement the policies that we want. And you know, it's a push and pull, like it is with everything else. And you know, we're not oblivious to that. We're not naive on the way that this process works. We've had many successes in this last Congress in ways in that we have pushed the speaker to implement changes in some of the key pieces of legislation that came out of our caucus, and we intend to continue to do that as progressive caucus members.
All right, thank you all so much. As I said, there are going to be movement leaders over here. For us, this is about being fundamentally unyielding in what we need, which is liberation for our people and our communities, and a future that is livable. So yes, we do need to see these outcomes, and I really invite everyone to please not leave right now when our awesome elected representatives leave, but to talk to our movement leaders, hear what's happening in our communities. It's incredible, yes, how much pain is out there and how much we need a solution to these interlocking crises, but also the vision that is out there that we hold, that we will make true for a future where we can all survive and thrive. So please join us over here around the corner, and we'll be answering questions over here. Thank you so much.